In less than 24 hours, we expect to hear from Huntsville Chief of Police during a City Council work session. Chief Mark McMurray is expected to comment on the Huntsville Police Advisory Council's report and the recommendations that were released during last week's City Council meeting. Just before that meeting, the Citizens Coalition of Justice Reform and the United Women of Color started a new campaign for police reform. They also shared what they hope to hear from the Chief of Police when he finally speaks.
Now, town hall meeting for Councilman Devin Keith is taking place right now. Way 31's Ashley Carter is at City Hall. Ashley, you were at the news conference earlier, so what do people hope to hear from the police chief tomorrow?
Accountability is what many people are hoping to hear from the police chief when he responds to the report, but what they ultimately hope to see is real change and police reform.
We are yet to receive communication from the leaders of this community that they will take responsibility and apologize to those injured mentally and physically during these events.
An apology and accountability for the way police acted toward protesters during the June 1st and 3rd protests are something the Citizens Coalition for Justice Reform says they are hoping Chief Mark McMurray will do when he speaks out about the report. But they aren't necessarily expecting one.
We don't expect anything, but we are hoping that they take responsibility and start building accountability from this point forward.
After reviewing the recommendations, the coalition says while they do agree with some, they believe there are deeper and systematic issues that need to be addressed with local police departments as well.
We do know that Huntsville police officers receive a lot of training already. That does not necessarily get rid of some of that discriminatory bias that some of the officers have, nor does it address the lack of relationship building in the communities or the lack of trust from officers to citizens and vice versa.
It's the reason the coalition also announced their public awareness campaign today on policing issues that they say go far beyond how police handle protests. They say it was perfect timing with the report coming out and the work session Wednesday. They hope by putting a spotlight on police reform in Madison County, it'll help drive the change they want and say is greatly needed with local law enforcement.
I hope it starts to foster real, honest communications between law enforcement and members of the community and forces real interactions so that we can talk to each other about what the shortcomings, perceived and truthful, are on each side and find that happy medium that lets us all start to heal from all these various atrocities.
Leaders from the coalition are expected to attend the work session, and that work session begins tomorrow at 5 p.m. Live in Huntsville, Ashley Carter, Way 31 News.